Today I got to sit down with J Money, aka the UFC Card Fiend. We talked about what grade we would give Topps for their 2024 run-up products, some of his favorite unlicensed cards and how we think those will age over time, as well as his thoughts on how to time buys to get cheaper cards for your PC. As always, I hope you enjoy this video. All right, I'm with the money man, J Money, aka UFC Card Fiend. I've been watching this guy's videos for a long time, man. First time I've ever talked to you in person, I believe. Thank you for coming on the show today, and I'm excited to talk, man.
I couldn't be more excited, brother. We've definitely chatted over Instagram, but this is awesome.
So a monumental moment, getting the Fiend with the ski mask on the show. Yeah, man, a lot to talk about today. A lot of your PC guys that you collect are really, surging and doing really well. So I'm excited to talk about that. But before we get into kind of your personal collecting, how did you get into collecting in general and then into UFC card collecting?
Okay, so collecting in general was from when I was a kid. Like I can remember being like, I don't know, like 7 or something or 8, and my brother is 4 years older than me. So I remember he started collecting basketball. He started collecting Jordan, Kobe, Iverson, and I started falling in love with it. I would rip packs with him, but he would usually, take the better hit and leave me with the doubles, which is crazy to think about right now. But
classic Big Brother.
Yeah,
dude.
that's classic Big Brother, bro. That's how it started. I've loved basketball. I still do. I just don't watch it as often as I used to. But that's what started my collecting. And then I guess when I got into high school, I lost a little bit of love for it because I started getting into like music. I was in like bands and stuff, so there was no time for collecting. And I guess it's those years where you're like, yeah, that's childhood stuff, You want to be a little more grown up for some reason when you're like 15, 16. But yeah, so I kind of lost it there. Never really picked it back up because my sisters or somebody who had the collections, they just kind of like gave them to my nephews, and it was gonna be kind of rude, like, hey, I need my cards back.
Yeah.
Because I moved to Austin, so I just forgot all about it. My brother moved also for work, and so yeah, I kind of lost love for collecting. But then now we get to the pandemic, and I start watching UFC again. Oh, well, I guess throughout my life as well, like I guess from high school till then, I was kind of watching UFC super randomly, just whenever I would see it like at bars or
Yeah, because the pay-per-views.
just randomly. Exactly. Like I wasn't watching fight nights. I wasn't, I wasn't in it. I was just big fights. Obviously, like I saw a little bit of John Jones, GSP, just like the big names when I was younger, and I was like, okay, that's cool. But I never thought like I would be in love with UFC now. Thinking about myself back then, I would probably laugh like, yeah, no way. But yeah, in the pandemic, I started watching. I fell in love with, believe it or not, Tony Ferguson.
The
I don't know if it was. I think it's because he was like, like Mexican American. He started highlight reels started coming up on like random Instagram, YouTube, and I just started watching him, and it was when he was on his crazy run, and so I Kukui really like brought me into the UFC. And then his fight against Charles, which I believe was in 2020, that's when I saw Charles, and then I started digging into him. And so Kukui led me to Charles. He was the first kind of fighter where like once I heard about his bio and how he was really not meant to be there. Like he's a little miracle, you know, like with all his illnesses when he was a kid and stuff. So that really hyped, like holy shit. And then he dismantled Kukui, you know. So um, that's when I fell in love with Charles and his fighting style, and so then maybe like maybe like a year later, I'm hanging out with my nephews who are sorry about that, who are I don't know, I think they're like 15 and like 20 something. I'm in my 30s and in my mid 30s, so I'm hanging out with them, and we go to Walmart, and they're buying basketball and football
Mm-hmm.
blasters. It's the first time I see cards again.
Yeah.
And then there's a 2022 Select Blaster, the red ones, and I was like, what the heck? A UFC, like UFC cards? And so I bought it, just, you know, I don't know why. I remember thinking like this is expensive, like for $30.
Yeah, dude.
I was like, this is expensive, but fuck it, like I'm gonna rip it. Um, and I don't think I got anything like cool that day, but I went back to Walmart and I pretty much like bought all the other ones that were there. And I think it was five. So I went like for another two, and then I went for like the last one. And in one of those, I hit my first big card, which was Ilya Tupuria, and that's what led me actually to Ilya
Mm.
Tupuria. I hit an out of 49, the blaster exclusive, the tricolor, out of
Oh,
49.
okay. Nice.
I
Dude,
think
out of a
it's teal
blaster?
and pink. Out
That's
of
a
a
great
blaster,
hit.
bro. Out of 49. I remember just seeing rookie, and I was like, okay, I remember in collecting, like rookie's
Yeah.
important. And I was like, but who is this guy, you know? And sure enough, led me to a few of his highlights. Oh shit.
Yeah.
So
And the
and
rest
then
is history.
also
Now you got
the
the best Ilya PC out there, dude.
that are oh no man, there's some people that are in it. I like it's because I'm all about the right deal. Like
Hmm.
there's cards that I want and I've been wanting, but if they're not at like for me like $70, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Don't spend it. Don't do it. Like my first auto that I bought, it was a Charles 2023 Prism Mojo, beautiful, and I got it for $61, and I was like, ah. But now I look up those autos, and they're like 150 plus, like
Yeah.
200. Like some people want
Hmm.
to charge 100. I'm like, all right, y'all are crazy, but it's always a good buy, you know, like if you find it at those prices. So that's kind of what I've been doing with Ilya, bro. It's been crazy because he's been on a roller coaster
Yeah.
of of you know being super hot and high prices, and then when he beat Volk, his prices tanked. For no, not tanked, not tanked.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say tanked.
But
It just
but
they
decreased.
dipped.
Uh-huh.
They like weirdly, but I was like, yes, this is where I strike.
Yes,
And
sir.
so I got a few of the RCs the Prism RC, the red Prism RC. I got it from a friend KO. He was getting rid of his cards at that time. I picked up an what is it? A National Treasures out
Nice.
of 99 slab for $50 too. I was like, okay, what is going on? But yeah, that's that card going back right to that blaster that I ripped. That card really led me to Ilya, and then I was also liking Masvidal. I guess I was just liking like I don't know, like Latin fighters for some reason. But I like Masvidal at that moment. I remember seeing an interview where he's saying like the next big thing is Topuria
Oh, yeah,
to somebody like randomly,
yeah.
and I
Uh-huh.
was like, okay, this is the
You're like,
guy
I
that I
should pay
have. This is the
attention
guy
to
that I
that.
got. Exactly. So that sealed it for me to really look even more into Ilya, and
Mm.
then eventually piecing him. Um, but yeah, that's like in 2 years. in the span of 2 years.
Nice, man. So we talked about, a lot there with your PC. We talked about some products that you ripped. So I guess we can kind of segue into the products from 2024. Topps gets the license back. Panini
Yes.
era is over. A lot of us came in, basically right when Panini was popping off. So that's kind of what a lot of people are more familiar with. So I'm kind of curious, what are your thoughts with the 2024 releases? What have your favorite releases been? And what kind of grade would you give Topps as a whole, 1 through 10?
Okay. So
Let's start with Topps
I'm a
Chrome first. We'll
Panini
talk about
baby.
Topps Chrome.
Okay. So Topps Chrome, I was super excited. I know there was people that are Panini all the way, but
Yep.
I'm just cards all the way. Like
That's a
license
good way to put
cards.
it.
So
Yeah.
whoever has the freaking license, give me something. I truly I really enjoyed that they gave us so much product, even though at times it was a little chaotic, but that's one of the things that thinking about it now, I really liked about Topps, because they gave us 7 products, including the NYC and the
Oh yeah, yeah.
Noche
I always
boxes.
forget about those.
Bro, 7 products, like, and how many? Like, when did they release Chrome?
I think it's getting really close
Has it
to
been
a
more than a
year.
year or
I
less?
think it's
Right?
been
Like, it's
right
less than a
around,
year.
yeah. Yeah. It's been right around a year,
Yeah,
plus or minus a month or
it's
two.
crazy.
Yeah.
Chrome was awesome, and I'm going to tell you, I'm a little bit biased because Elvis Brenner was coming
Yeah.
out, his first auto, and his rookie card. So I
Hmm.
was so stoked, man. So yeah, I think Chrome, and also just because, like, thinking back, like 20, when did Chrome come out? 2017, 2018, 2019, right? Like, those cards are so beautiful. So it was like, what are they gonna do? Like,
Yeah.
it
The
was super
excitement and the
exciting for
buzz
me.
was there.
Exactly. Once I saw that they looked Prism-esque, I was a little disappointed, but then I was like, nah, like, this is awesome, because I obviously makes the parallel shine
Yeah.
really nice. So yeah, because obviously I kind of thought they were gonna maybe do the whole card like they used to. Um, but I think they look beautiful. They're beautiful cards. What came next?
I
Midnight.
think
I
Midnight
wasn't
was
too
next. Yep.
interested in Midnight. I wasn't too interested in
I know
Midnight.
you got an Elvis. You got an Elvis Midnight, right? So you at least got a couple cards from there.
Oh yeah, yeah. The goal is to get every Elvis auto from his rookie year,
Okay.
which
Nice.
is, I think we're at 4. I think he has 4 so far.
Okay, that's not too
And then
bad, man.
now,
Some people have so many It's crazy how many rookie autos some guys are getting. Like to me,
I
that I
know,
don't want
bro.
that if I'm collecting somebody. So like 4 or 5 is a pretty good mark.
Once, yeah, it's 4.
Nice.
It's 4, so that's not bad. And I
Yeah.
think he has one in royalty. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't even want to talk about royalty.
Dude, it's crazy, man.
But
It's
I
crazy,
want
man.
I want you to talk about it. I just want you to talk
Yeah.
about it, but that's later.
Yeah. We
Now,
we
okay,
had a
so
knockout next.
yeah, knockout was super fun, obviously, because of the on card autos, right? They haven't
Yep.
given us that.
Uh-huh.
And so, again, so excited for some Elvis. I got my first Alexander Volkanovsky on card auto from Knockout, which was a red out of 25 patch auto.
Nice, man. Did you buy that one
Um,
as a single or was that from a product rip?
yeah, no, single.
Okay.
My product rips, my product rips were both okay. Yeah, both tops, both Chrome and Midnight were okay rips. Like, they weren't the best. They weren't the worst.
Hmm.
I did hit an Elvis speckle in my Chrome box, so that was.
Okay.
It's always cool to hit PC. Um, okay, so Knockout is great. I'm loving Knockout. Obviously, a little bit thicker card, so quality control is
Hmm.
is always going to be affected right away. Um, what came next?
I think it was Gold
Finest.
Label.
Oh yeah. Gold label, gold label. My gold label boxes were both pretty solid, but
Yeah.
it was such a 50 product. I think that's been the probably the worst product for that. Like one box yes, one box no. I saw like when I would watch cases getting ripped, I'd be like, wow, like three boxes in a row that were just
Hmm.
bunk. Um, but then they had the gold splatter, the SSPs that were
Yeah, man.
super nice.
I was
I
surprised
hit
at
one
how
of
well
those,
those sold. Like the art of fighting
and
and the
still are
gold
selling.
splatter.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like the what was the? I think they had another one. The
raining gold.
raining
No, well,
gold.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
raining gold was the
Yeah,
SSSSP.
yeah, yeah. So to me that was
um,
surprising because normally with a lot of these case hit inserts, SSP, whatever you want to call them, normally they don't sell that well. But Gold Label, man, like all three or four of those were selling pretty high, which personally I was
yeah,
happy to see that. But really surprising and happy, that those are selling good because as when we're opening products, like if you hit one of those, that can kind of save your ass with the box.
yeah. I hit an O'Malley gold splatter,
Oh, nice.
but I'm such a hoarder, bro, and I still have it. I didn't want to list it. I still have
Yeah.
it. I snagged a Jailton Mahaldinho gold splatter on eBay for like $30, bro. I was like,
He is dirt cheap right now,
what?
surprisingly. For his
Yes,
talent level, he's
yes,
pretty cheap right
bro.
now.
Yeah, and he's going up. I think that who was it? Blades, right? Curtis Blades was the one who
Hmm.
kind of
Yeah,
exposed him. But those hammer fists, bro.
it was
Nobody's staying
nasty.
conscious with
Nope.
those hammer fists, bro. But I'm glad he got that because he'll never do it again. I don't think,
Hmm.
like just kind of like hug and stay
Yeah.
there. Anyway,
And
gold
we had
label, pretty
yeah, we had
solid, pretty solid.
okay. We had
But that's been
Finest
the
up
worst.
next.
Finest has been the funnest, I
Yeah.
think, as far as everything about it and how I went about it. Because I did some breaks with Finest.
Hmm.
Um, Ripped my own box, got a little smoked on there, but I did get an Amanda Nunes, just base on card auto from the Intimidator set.
Okay, that's a good card too.
So that's pretty cool. I do have like a gold Amanda Nunes. Like I have a little tiny Amanda Nunes pile
Hmm.
that I'm hoarding as well because I should just list them. She's not a PC, but
Yeah.
um, that's a whole nother conversation, bro. Like I need to sell cards, Zach.
Yeah, I
I
know,
need to
right?
sell freaking cards. I have some good ones in there. Anyway, finest has been the coolest for me, the funnest. And then now it's royalty,
Yeah,
right?
dude, royalty. What a nightmare, man. What a nightmare process for like I think the actual quality of the cards, the designs of the cards, they're on card autos, you have some cool maps. Like that part of it, I'm pretty cool with, but the actual distribution to us, the normal consumer, has been a nightmare, man. Like an absolute nightmare. The
Yeah,
pricing, the immediate sellout on the Topps website, the Fanatics drawing process, like all of that has just been a nightmare for the normal people that want to get a box. And then the upcharging to the card shops. I'm hearing people in my comments on my videos saying their card shop is charging over $1,000, dude. Like, what
oh
world
my
are we living
lord,
in? It's ridiculous, the pricing of this. So I don't know what happened with
Jesus
this.
Christ.
Hopefully they can hear our feedback and hear our outcry that like this does not need to happen again. Because I was so happy with the 2024 as a whole as far as pricing goes. Like Finest being around 150, 175, I thought during release was like a pretty good price point. So
Oh yeah,
to go to the complete opposite contrast with royalty was pretty. I was a little mad and frustrated about that.
extremely frustrated, bro. And I was frustrated, and I didn't even go through the process because I knew I wasn't gonna buy a box.
Yeah,
But just watching else, and yeah, it's a nightmare. And if you make it harder for collectors, actual people that want to rip for themselves to get it, it's gonna push them away. Like
yeah,
what's the point of breakers getting product if well, no, I guess it's better if actually the breakers get the product and we get it at a cheaper price. But That's a whole nother conversation as well.
Yeah,
Because
dude.
that's what I'm gonna
That's
do here.
yeah.
That's what I'm gonna have to do here because I don't want to dish out. Like I can't. I
Right.
can't
Okay.
dish out.
What's your plan for royalty then? What kind of what parameters do you have set? What plan are you going to do as far as trying to get some of those royalty cards?
So I'm already on some break. What's it called? Auctions.
Okay.
I think some are like 3 days,
Mm-hmm.
some are like 4 days from now. But I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get again like quite a bit of Elvis just because he's the cheapest. Um, I'm hoping to get him like between 10 and 15, I guess, per break or per two case breaks. Definitely have to do a Charles because he's in a lot of stuff. He's in quite a bit of set lists. I
Okay,
mean,
that's good. Checklist.
yeah, yeah.
Nice.
He was the one that I noticed that was in most checklists. But funny enough, the breaks that I've seen, not a single Charles card have I seen.
Hey, they're all waiting. They're waiting for you to hop
Yeah,
in, and then they're all
they're
gonna
all
pop
waiting for
out,
my
dude.
breaks. You're right. You're right. So definitely doing that, and then I'm probably going to be priced out of an Elia break.
Yeah, I bet
Because it's
he's
his
sky.
first
Yeah,
auto.
first auto. It's probably gonna be sky high.
Yeah, he's probably going to be going for what DP was going. Dustin in the finest breaks because Dustin was in the freaking glove die cut
Yeah, dude.
checklist that you hit. Bro, your hands are they burning? Like, show me your
Yeah,
hands.
I got the gloves
Are they
on,
like
dude.
red, bro?
Fire graphic on the screen. I'm gonna have to do that one after. Yeah, man, it's been a crazy.
Hands over there,
It's
bro.
so funny, dude. Like 2023 got basically nothing
Beat
the
your
whole
ass.
year. Got beat down, man. Then 2024 comes out. Chrome and Knockout were pretty meh, and then since then it's just kind of been ramping up. So like it's you know how it is, man. It's literally it's gambling. It's luck of the draw when you're buying products. If I didn't have the channel
100.
and if I wasn't ripping boxes for the channel, I probably wouldn't buy most of these boxes.
The
I think I might have
boxes.
bought
Yeah.
yeah, I might have bought Finest just because I think that was a good price point for what they were giving. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy, dude.
Super crazy, bro. Um but yeah, I guess we were talking about all this to rate, right? To rate
Yeah,
Topps first year.
one
So I
through
guess
10. What are you giving it score wise?
I'm gonna give Topps a sincere grade, and it's gonna be an 8.8.
Oh wow, high
Almost a
grade.
9.
Nice, dude.
High grade. Almost like I've had no like I've never been like, oh no, fuck this. Oh well, yeah, I guess midnight a little bit, but then I got my Elvis card and I was like, holy smokes, this
They
is
are nice
beautiful in
though.
person,
They are nice in person,
super
man.
nice. I ended up getting a Charles and an Elia as well, but that is my least favorite set. Everything else has been on point, man. I have not had any complaints. Again, I have the Elvis Brenner bias
Yeah,
because it's his first cards.
yeah. It's a
But
good
an
rookie year for you to
8.8 for
chase.
me.
Okay, nice, dude.
Yeah, dude, like thinking about that, like being in the era of one of your fighters this rookie year is crazy. Like I've had two already. I've had Elia and Elvis. Because trying to get like a rookie, Charles or rookie Dustin Poirier cards is crazy. Even
Yeah.
Volk, but he just went down a little bit, and I
Mm-hmm.
recently just got his Topps Chrome 2019 rookie card.
Nice, dude. Yeah, those are nice looking
Yeah,
cards too. That's one that I
beautiful.
kind of have my eye on. I'm kind of gonna wait to see what happens in the next year, maybe 2 years with him, and then he's a guy that I've really enjoyed his run. So I definitely want to upgrade. I have a green back in the display, and I kind of want to upgrade that into something a little more flashy. The green is so subtle, you can't even really tell
Is
that
it is it
it's a good
is it the
parallel.
knockout or is it the Chrome?
Mm, it is
Does it have the
the
RC on top or at the
yeah,
bottom?
it's RC on top left.
Okay,
Um,
that's knockout. Well, I think
yeah.
they were both at a knockout, but the Chrome one was like an insert,
Oh,
if I'm
okay.
not mistaken. But yeah, so you have like the green tealish one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Isn't that out of 88? No,
Yep. It's
out of
numbered. I forget the
88.
exact parallel. It's a good parallel, but just visually, like it's
Yeah,
not
you
that
want
shiny.
something
You know,
extra.
like I want something that's like they have the pulsar, the blue
It's gonna pop.
pulsars in there. They look nice, man. I'm like, I
Yes.
need, so I want to wait to see if his pricing kind of goes down a little bit. And if it does, I want to hop in and get one of those. So
It's definitely trending down. It's
yeah,
definitely trending down, and it has been. And I couldn't be more excited,
right.
as a collector,
Hmm.
because for a while, like I couldn't really get Volt cards. Like a year ago, I wasn't really buying too many Volt cards, and the ones that I would get would kind of be through deals, like from like Instagram friends and stuff like
Right.
that. Um, but yeah, it's trending downwards, and I couldn't be happier.
So, what do you hope Topps does differently next year? What do you want them to do the same? I mean, 8.8, that's a solid grade. So, what kind of critiques do you have for them?
I think the main critique is stop doing these like triple set things. Class one, class two, class three,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
finest, uncommon, rare. Like that doesn't translate to UFC. I don't think it hasn't been, at least. Um, I think that's one of the things that I just don't like. Chrome didn't have it, right? Chrome is just a
yeah. Yep.
200 or 300 set.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think it's 200. But yeah, like stick to like the Chrome vibe, and then even what was the case hit for Chrome?
There was a bunch of inserts, man. I think Hidden
Yeah.
Gems and Spitting Venom were the two that really
Oh,
stood out.
those were like the multiple case hits, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
But they had,
close to
but
20. I want to say.
yeah, I guess keep the case hit stuff, because I love case hits. I think it's something special about them. Because they're not numbered, and so there's still that mystery, like how many are there
Yeah,
really, so keep that, like the crazy SSPs, and then like, but then still have your normal case hit,
right.
2 case hit, 4K. I think that's cool. um and that's it, man. Oh, you know what, like, I hope they never do the parallels like they did in Gold Label, where it's just the letters that they change
Oh,
the
okay.
color.
Yeah,
That
Knockout 2 was kind
is,
of similar.
but Knockout, they would even give you like some little
Yeah.
lines sometimes, like on the sides and stuff like that. Just don't do what you did with Gold Leaf ever again. Gold Label. Dude, you know what's funny? You know what's so funny that I said Gold Leaf right now, because in my video that I ripped, my Gold Label box, I put Gold Leaf in the title.
Oh yeah.
Nobody ever said anything.
I
I
didn't
haven't
notice.
changed it.
I didn't
And
notice and I watched it.
bro, it's funny how the brain works.
Hmm.
Like, you saw the Gold Label, you read
Yep.
Gold, and you
Uh
saw Leaf, brain told you Label.
huh. Or
And
we're
it's
also
like one of my
so
most
dumb we can't
watched
even read it
videos.
right.
I was like, hey, I'm just gonna start misspelling and changing stuff on my
Yeah.
titles, because it did really well. So I was like, yeah, nobody ever told me like, bro, you have the title wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a funny little anecdote here. But yeah, I think just those two little minor things, to me, they've done a great job. I will, clap
Nice,
for
man.
them.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to be a little more harsher on my grade. I was thinking, I wrote the question to you, so I was kind of thinking about it. And after this royalty debacle, I have to take a whole point off of what I was going to give. So I was going to give like close to an 8, maybe a 7.5. So I'm going to give it a 6.5 or a 7 because of royalty.
Whew.
I do think it was a pretty solid, like I think we ended the year pretty strong. Finest was great to me. I really enjoyed Finest. I thought Chrome was fun. Maybe a little bit too many inserts, too many designs, but I do at least enjoy that they really went for it creatively. And as a guy that I collect cards for the sports aspect, but also because of the visual component. And it's like it's just art, it's just design at the end of the day. So I like the
Hell yeah.
creativity with Chrome. Midnight, I also like the creativity with Midnight. I know a lot of people weren't into it, but I like some of the colors. It was different, which I appreciated at least. Knockout to me was too plain. Um, honestly, I'm gonna say Knockout was my least favorite product of the year. I don't know if that's a hot take. I don't know what the general consensus is, but for that price point, I just didn't really like a lot of the designs. I thought it was a little bit too plain. You alluded to the parallel coloring. I thought it wasn't quite enough coloring. It was more than gold label. But to me, the what I think I give a big knock on Knockout is that the price was too high comparatively to what we got. I think if the Knockout price was closer to Finest, then maybe it would have been a little bit different story. But even that 50 to like $65 more, to me, kind of is a big deal. And then Gold Label, I thought Gold Label was a fun rip for what it was. Not the best quality cards, as we know from ripping the boxes, but it was a really cheap rip. Hopefully they can even get that price down even lower and have a product that's a little bit more approachable for people. Finest was awesome. I really have the only complaint I would have with Finest is I completely agree about the 300 card base set. A little bit too much. You got to cut that down, man. If you want a huge base set, just put 150 and call it good. The 3-tiered system, not really a huge fan of that. And then Royalty, I like the designs. I like the concept of it. I like the execution of it, but the price and the way that they went about the drop is just horrendous, dude. Horrendous, dude. Horrendous, dude. Horrendous, dude. You're probably happy with it, or like the breakers and stuff.
Yeah, you kind of lagged there for a little bit. You were like remixing, but I didn't hear that last sentence that you said. Can you say that last sentence?
Just Royalty, like the pricing debacle and all of that, man. I like the design aspect. I like the fit and finish and the quality of it. But just the pricing and the distribution aspect of it has been, a nightmare.
For sure, for sure. 6.5 for you.
6.5. I could go 7. I could be swayed to a 7.
That's fair. Well, because of your hits, I was gonna say, because of the way they actually treated you, your box treated you well.
Bro, I can't grade on a curve because I got lucky. Because next year I'm not gonna get lucky and I'm gonna, what I mean? I gotta try and be because I've seen some boxes out there. You get on Whatnot. Shout out to Matt, Golden Octagon, dude. You watch some of the videos and like that could be anybody. Like, so I'm trying not to grade on a curve just because I got lucky on some of these.
For sure.
So we're talking about, the crazy pricing with Royalty, right? Just absolutely insane. What are some things that you collect and some ways that you collect that don't break the bank? Do you have any ideas or philosophies that you like to do that you can share with some people of how to cheaply collect things?
Yeah, I guess, when I first started, it was like, collecting all the non-numbered parallels of like my guys, like the Blaster exclusive Green Prism, stuff like that. That's when I started because I guess I was even tighter with my budget, or with what I was comfortable spending per card. But then I started liking some sets from certain products. Like, I think the first one that I really liked that I was like, I want this whole set was Optics, aka.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, I really like that set. I think most of the fighters in that set are fun. And I recently finished it, like just buying the base cards for $1, $2, free shipping, stuff like that. And so now I've started like an actual binder where it's gonna be just for sets, and to remind me I need to finish. Right now I have 2022 Select Global Icons.
Okay.
2022 Select Global Icons. I think I'm like more than halfway done with that one. It's a 30 card set. And the Chronicles 22 Revolution set. I think.
Ooh, that's a pretty one.
Yeah, it's pretty. It was a one-off, like I think AKA was also a one-off, if I'm not mistaken.
For Panini, yeah, I don't think they did that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. That was the only time they did it. Chrome had it in their set, but it was way different. Anyway, yeah, just thinking about it that way, like what insert sets are a little bit rarer. They have a little bit more of a story to them. I think that's always fun, a little fun, inexpensive way to keep collecting and keep it fresh. Because sometimes it's like I know what big cards I want for my guys now, but it's
Right.
like I can only
Yeah.
go into eBay so many times trying to hope that it's gone down or or there's an auction for $7 going on, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that's a way that I keep it fresh for myself at least, you know, because then I'll get excited and I'm like, oh yeah, let's go try to spend less than $20 on you know on the entire remaining cards that I need. Which I want to make a video about that actually. You know, like putting like a dollar amount and trying
Hmm.
to finish certain sets. But aside from that, I don't know. Well, what do you think? What's like a
Mm,
good way for you?
yeah, I completely agree with the insert sets. I mean, you can get base sets for dirt cheap, man. You know, there's kind of the Venn diagram of like expensive cards that have a lot of value that will probably have a lot of value over time, and then like things that I just think are cool and want to collect. And like to me, if you can complete a whole set, that kind of crosses over a little bit. There's a little more resellability. If the set is completed, there might be more desirable for other people, but you still have, you know, the fun of hunting, the fun of not like breaking the bank and still having, you know, a completed set that you can look through and check out all the favorite fighters from that specific time in that set. I think you brought up a good point about like lower end parallels within your specific PC guys, which is a fun one that I do as well. Yeah, even if it's just base cards. Every now and then I'll see a specific card and just be like, yeah, I want to get that card. It's only a couple dollars. So how did you come to your PC guys? I know you talked about Charles, you talked about Ilya. With DP and Volk, how did you come to them? And then also with Volk, you know, kind of, and DP are both kind of entering into that age where they could potentially retire soon. Are you going to continue collecting them after they retire? Are you going to like pick up two other younger guys that are in the game? Or how do you think you're going to navigate that as they age out?
I think as they age out, that's when I'm gonna start going for the big cards. So I'm
Okay,
gonna ramp it up.
nice.
I'm gonna ramp it up, yeah, because I feel like that's kind of like a trend, right?
Yeah,
Maybe not actually. I guess it also depends on how they end their careers, right?
okay.
Uh, but hopefully, you know, once they're out and like, yeah, once they're just not in the in the talking, you know, UFC news and stuff like that, and they kind of get a little forgotten. Maybe people will start selling them for lower, and so yeah,
Right.
that's kind of my plan for them. How I came to collect them, Volkanovski. Obviously, I I was watching his fights. You know, saw his highlights, his come up, his whole what is it? What's the Aussie football?
Rugby?
Rugby. Yeah, his whole rugby career, like how he was like a big tank
Yeah,
and then he slims down to featherweight.
all the
So crazy.
Australians and New Zealanders are just punching the screen right now. He doesn't know what rugby is. Forgive us, guys. We're Americans. We know all we know is American football, baseball, and basketball. We're just
I said
learning about
Aussie
soccer
football.
right now.
Ah, yes, forgive us, forgive me. Uh, but yeah, watching all that, and then so I just started taking like a liking to him, not even thinking that I was gonna collect them, and then I hit a Black Pandora out of Optic, um, out of 4 single packs that I bought from like Steel City or something like that,
Hmm.
and that got me so hyped, bro. I was so hyped, because I knew it was a case hit. Um, and I was like, "Holy smokes!" And that just triggered something in my brain,
Mhm.
and I started looking at all his cards. Started buying like um, some 2021, 2022, because obviously I was in 2022. I still didn't even know that his rookie year was 2019, but I was just, you know, I was so in love with that card, which I still have. I should have sent you that card. Uh, yeah, I hit that card and the rest is history. Kind of like the same way with Ilya, you know, um, hitting like an awesome card and just getting excited for more. I think
Mhm.
That's how that happened. Dustin, I just there was no real like that for Dustin. Like I just remember I think when he lost to Habib, um, his post fight speech, I think that's what like tugged at my heart, and started just looking at more of his fights and how he would like do very good and then do very good and then lose, but
Hmm.
it was never like a streak of losing.
Yeah.
And then once he fought Connor, and showed up and was just like humble but still like shut the fuck up, like
Yeah.
I just really like that vibe. And yeah, I think just slowly, little by little, and then I think I got an auto. I think I sniped like a red optic out of 49 from 2022 from him. I got it for like $20, and I was like, holy shit! And I
Nice,
saw for
dude.
how much they actually go, and so that kind of hyped me up. And yeah, again, the rest is history.
Cool, man. Well, we're talking about DP, and I got to show this absolute nuke that you have that you sent me in your PC. This card is so awesome, dude. So tell us about this card right here. DP on the moon. He's about to smash
Oh,
up some
bro.
some some mooners up there, some moon aliens.
And he doesn't even see it coming. The moon guy is facing the moon. Here comes
Yep.
DP, like knocking him out,
Uh-huh.
Michael Chandler style to the back of the head, bro.
Yeah, back of the head. Right. Her Bean's like, I'll let you hit 10 more and then don't do it again, okay?
Okay. Oh man. So this card, you brought it to my attention with a video that I think you were talking to Damien, if I'm in one of those chats, and somehow it came up. It was nowhere near my radar, but you bring it up, and so then one day I just searched to do my fighters, and then I'll put one of one, an eBay
Uh-huh.
search. And I just happened to do it when this beautiful card was on auction. Um, and I believe when I got to it, there was maybe like 3 days left, and it was like at $53. And it stayed at 53, and it stayed at 53, and it stayed at 53. And I think I ended up getting it for like 120 shipped. So I think I got it right under, or no, a little bit over 100, like 100 and some.
Nice. And this is a 101,
I
right?
was out. Yeah, I was having 101 fever because one of my goals for 2023 was to get a 101 PC card, and I didn't complete it in 2020. I mean 2024. I didn't complete it then, but I got this I think in January, if I'm not mistaken. So, oh no, February. So right after, right after I ended
Nice,
up
dude.
snagging. So that's my first PC one of one.
That's awesome, man. I'm
That
proud
is
to
my
be an
yeah.
American on the back. As DP sleeps, a moon alien. That's so awesome, dude. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Next
It's
up,
funny
tell us.
enough. So,
Yeah, go
so a
ahead.
quick story with that card. One of my friends came over the other day, and without me telling him anything, he was like, "Oh shit, this is a badass card." And then I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. It's a 101." He was like, "Holy shit, what?" Like tripping about it. But out of all my cards, I have some cool cards up there. Out of all the ones, he chose that one. So I was like, "Okay, so you know."
Yeah,
It's still a solid card. It's kind of silly, like
that's
military.
why I
The
like it. Yeah,
hell?
it's so goofy. I think it's
It,
hilarious.
it is definitely a one of a kind piece in my
Yeah,
PC,
yep.
literally and figuratively.
Then we got this one.
Um,
Tell us about this one, man. This is a nice card. True gold.
this is my most recent pickup. Yeah, yeah. We are talking about Volk's prices,
Hmm.
going down, trending downwards, and I picked this up. Like I think this card raw would be worth upwards of 100, obviously, right? Um, I get it slabbed. It's an 8, but there's only one of these because it's the front bookend, 1 out of 10. Um, it's slabbed already, and I got it for half of that. So I couldn't be happier. It is now my favorite Volkanovski card. I think when I think of gold, I think of him and Charles for some reason.
Nice,
Um,
man.
like gold parallels.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, um, yeah, it's just a lovely card. I'm getting more into slab, so I guess this is like one of the bigger additions that I've had to the PC, and I hope they just keep getting better and better.
What's your thoughts on? I know some people, whenever they get a lower grade 7 or 8, they will, get it out of the case and potentially just have it raw, or potentially try and regrade. Have you thought about any of that, or what's your philosophies there?
I haven't really thought about it, you know. I personally would not try to crack that myself because I,
Yeah,
I have
it's too scary.
I have like yeah, definitely. So yeah, no, I don't think I would do that. Personally, that 8 really means nothing, you know. To me it's a 10. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
card. And I'm not trying to resell it either. At least not at this moment, you know, or
Hmm.
for a long time coming. So I think it's gonna stay an 8. And yeah, just a
Nice,
beautiful
dude.
card, bro. I love
Yep.
seeing
Another beautiful card. I love this
it.
image on here, man. This, to me, this is what UFC photography and UFC cards should look like. Great image, dynamic design. We got Olives just doing an insane ink here on the auto. So tell us about this one.
Yes, bro. Okay, so this card has multiple layers of why it's I guess, you know, my one of my favorite cards, or if not my favorite card of Charles that I have. First off, it was a gift. It was a gift from a hobby brother, VRC Vertical Rookie card.
Awesome, man.
Um, he he just surprised me, man, and I was like, what? Because I guess at the moment, like these cards were, you know, they were up more and selling a lot more, and I would see what this card would go for, and it was just, you know, out of my price range. It is my favorite sequence ever of a submission,
Mm,
and it is my favorite Charles victory because of the way Justin was talking, and kind of the way Justin he kind of materialized his own demise. Because I remember in an interview he was like, he just said how he would rather get choked out than knocked
mm.
out, right? And there he goes getting choked out. But yeah, he was just talking about how Charles is a quitter, you know, and it shows you how, you know, if you stay positive, you stay, you know, in a godly vibe and not in a hating vibe. It's like anything can happen. And yeah, maybe Justin should have won that fight, and he did knock him down in
That
the
was a
short
crazy
amount,
back
because I
and
think it was
forth.
it
Yeah.
was a it was a 1 round fight,
Hmm.
bro. It was
Insane.
crazy.
Super
Uh,
exciting fight.
yeah, extremely exciting. And so yeah, his ink, that was my first on card auto, uh, and yeah, it just like when somebody is generous and nice to me, it like boom, it kind of like opens up like that generosity in me towards not just, you know, vertical rookie card, but just the community itself. So
Right.
yeah, it was one of those moments where I was like, holy smokes, this is amazing. And so yeah, that's one of my most cherished cards.
Nice, man. Some heaters there. I also kind of wanted to talk to you about some unlicensed cards. So we alluded to it earlier in the video. Royalty is Ilya Toporia's first ever licensed auto. I had saw you picking up some, Goodwin, Champion, some other brands a while back, and probably for pretty good deals, I would imagine. He has auto with them, so it's
Yes.
technically one of his first autos ever. So I kind of wanted to pick your brain on kind of that vibe on unlicensed autos, and maybe some values that you've noticed, if it's increased or decreased since that time. And I'll show some of those cards as we're talking about it.
Yeah, so the auto itself, I think it's still going for relatively the same, anywhere between 100, 150. I got them at a great price at like half of that
Ah, nice.
during the time that his prices dipped it, I guess right after he beat Volk. And so I ended up getting two.
It doesn't make
two
any
of these
sense,
ones
dude. He
no
beats like
sense at all.
one of the best featherweights ever in a spectacular fashion, and his prices like slowly dip down.
Everybody loved Volk, bro, and
Yeah,
everybody was hating on him because of how brash he was. But like, if you know him and if you follow him, like, you know that he's not talking out of his ass. Like,
he's backing it up.
he did what he said he was gonna
Yep.
do every single time. Like, how do you
Hmm.
keep doubting him, man? You know, it is insane. But yeah, so I got all of these cards at a great price. I didn't even know, bro. Like, my friend Gem Card Collecting,
What
he's
up,
I
Jim?
think he's a super, I think he's one of the biggest Ilya Taporia fans. And so he let me know. And I was like, what the hell? I was almost gonna buy boxes of Goodwin Champions, but I was like, no, slow down, slow down. Like,
Yeah,
those are
probably
filled
definitely a
with
good
like,
move there.
yeah, and so I was like, yeah, instead of spending, the 150 on one box, I was like, I'm just gonna use that to pursue the auto.
Hmm.
I wanted the vertical auto because they also have
Okay.
this same
Yeah,
very
I've seen
very
those.
similar, but just vertical, right?
Hmm.
I wanted that one, but those were going for even more, and I could never find the right auction. But I snagged two of these, which I am extremely happy. I just think, yeah, like, I think about Charles Oliveira's Leaf 2010 auto,
Yeah.
and I feel like it's the same thing,
Right.
like, it is such a desirable thing. Like, there are collectors who just want licensed product, but there's a lot of collectors
Yeah,
as
man.
well who
John
want the
Jones, same
first
thing.
one.
Yep. John Jones has a Leaf Auto,
Exactly.
super desirable, goes for good
Before.
pricing. Hmm.
Yeah. Um, and so, yeah, I'm super, super happy with these. I got them at half price. If I wanted to sell them, I would double my money or maybe even triple.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen yet.
This is an on
Those
card
other
auto as well.
cards, yeah, yeah, these are on
Nice.
card. The other parallels, like these parallels, they're kind of in order to where the red one is nothing. It's kind of like just the red parallel, and then that one's out of $2.99. The pink tracks, that one, the space one, is out of like $1.99. The turtle, that's a
Nice,
turtle. It's like
dude.
a
I
turtle
like
shell
it.
parallel, bro. I was like,
Uh
what the hell is going on here, bro?
Got some clouds right here.
That was, yeah. The Clouds is out of 99, I believe. And so all of these cards, I've seen them like where people want to charge an arm and a leg, and I've seen them at very close prices to what I got them at.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. These cards, I think later, once you start seeing even less of them out there, maybe they'll become a little bit more desirable. I just had a little bit of fun with them. This was one of those times where I was like, okay, I don't want to spend an arm and a leg right now, so let's go hunt some cards that I can find for cheap. And I sniped all of those cards for like, between $8 and like $15, $16 each, which at that time, for me it felt okay. They're still rookie, it still says rookie on there.
Right.
So yeah, just little fun cards that maybe I won't see again later.
Nice. So you got, obviously a massive Topuria collection. He is like, in his prime right now. Potentially he's moving up. He's the champ. He's beat, Max and Volk, two absolutely massive names, not only in card collecting, but also just in MMA and in the UFC. So you're so invested in Topuria. Do you flip anything? Do you sell anything? I know you talked about just kind of keeping everything in the collection. What are your thoughts on selling since he's kind of at the top of his game right now?
Yeah, I'm a super card hoarder, bro. Super bad. I think if I were to sell anything, it would only be anything that I have doubles of.
Okay.
I don't think I could sell like my photon, even though I could probably get top price right now for it. I have two orange rated rookies out of 49. Maybe one of those I would be willing to either trade for the right card or sell and just get like a box with that money or something like that. But I'm holding. I'm holding. I'm still holding.
Diamond Hands, you heard it here first. Nothing's up for sale, dude. He's keeping it. I mean, you could look at it two ways, right? Either Topuria continues his streak and climbs astronomically. You've bought in relatively early on a lot of these cards, so the collection could just continue to increase in value, or he loses. One thing I hate about UFC collecting is as soon as somebody loses, people just like dump all their cards and they stop valuing them, which is insane to me. Like I
It's
understand.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand maybe, it goes down a little bit, but for it to like just half overnight because somebody lost to, in a title fight to another one of the best people in the sport is just insane. And hopefully we can kind of see that narrative kind of shift and change a little bit over time, because I've heard from many people that don't collect UFC that that's the main reason they don't collect UFC is because as soon as somebody loses, they just tank.
So volatile. But that also lets the difference between collectors and investors or prospectors.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think people do get this like feeling of holy shit, like like I don't want to lose my investment, and so they dump them. But it's like good for me, I guess, because I'm a collector
Yeah.
and I'm going to pick them up
I guess
cheaper.
it
But
also depends on what you
it is
bought in
strange.
for too. Because if you bought in
Yeah.
super low,
Yeah, you're right.
I buy in at 50 and I have, a bunch of ex fighter, they're champion now, and now those cards are selling for 75. But, before they were selling for, 100 something. So I guess technically you're a net positive. So maybe some of that's happening, but I feel like people are just like, I don't want this guy anymore. He lost, and they're just getting rid of it. Probably at a net negative, I would imagine, for a lot of sales, which is not good for anybody, really. Except the people collecting.
It's not good for
like you said, man. Like I did the same thing. One of your guys that you like loses, or maybe a prospect that you like loses that you think he's going to rebound and do well. You can definitely snipe and get some good deals whenever people are just dumping cards.
Hell yeah, that's what happened with Elvis for me.
Mm-hmm.
When it first came out, he was on that 3 KO win streak.
Yep.
And his price weren't crazy, but I remember buying his base auto for $20, and I was like, yes. Now his bill is like $1.25, free shipping. It's insanity, brother.
Yeah,
It's
he's had a
insanity.
tough streak too, man. He's had like
Yeah,
Miktabik,
they've
he's
given
fought
him.
Joel Alvarez, like he's fought killers. That Guram fight was insane. Guram is a pretty talented guy, so he's had a tough road so far.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree. But he's one of those guys that I still believe in. He's out there with Charles, Shoot the Books team. Like he's a killer himself. He just needs to. I feel like personally, this is what I feel, and I may be wrong, but when you come from relatively nothing, from like a poor, mentality, and now you get into a organization that's gonna pay you a bonus if you have a crazy finish. You become you start
Right.
hunting that KO, right? Elvis is a great grappler. He's a great jiu-jitsu guy. Like I feel like both fights that he lost, if he would have implemented that game plan, he would have won. Like, but I feel like he's on the come up. He's just starting. I'm sure he has dreams that he wants to do. Make money, and so I feel like now that he's had these 2 losses, maybe that goes away and he becomes a little bit smarter and more about wins rather than flashy KOs.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I hope that's what he does this year in 2025. I hope he becomes more of a grindy, like, just take over the fight, just outperform your opponent. I hope that's what he starts implementing. But I still believe in him, and I think he will bounce back, and I'm gonna keep ramping up my collection of him as well.
Nice, dude. Since we're talking about like X's and O's and game plans and stuff, we have I hate to bring this up, but we have Charles who fought Islam. Charles lost. We have Volk fought Islam. Volk lost. We have Dustin fought Islam. Dustin lost. Now we potentially have Topuria versus Islam. why is Islam like trying to fight all of your PC guys, dude? That was crazy to me when I thought about it. Like literally, almost every of your PC has fought Islam so far. So, what's your thoughts
I
on
feel
Ilya
like
trying to fight him?
Ilya can be the redeemer of my PC
Yeah,
against the baby eagle Islam Makhachev. I love Islam, bro. I began to love him because he's so funny. He's so
yeah,
funny.
he's
Like
goofy.
he is goofy and it's
Hmm.
hilarious because he's not trying. It's one of those, he's not trying to be
Hmm.
funny, but it's hilarious. And so, it does hurt. Um, it does hurt, but I know who he is, and there's no shame. I feel like Dustin put the best. Well, Dustin
Dude,
and Volk,
great fight.
put the
Great fights, both
yeah,
of
and
those.
they've been great, great fights. I feel like Charles, he says it himself. He had an off night, whatever that means. He didn't look the best against Islam. I feel like he can have a Dustin type of fight with him. Will he win? More than likely, no. But again, there's no shame. There's no shame in me saying that. It's not gonna make me like him less. It's not gonna make me
Yeah.
hate Islam. But yeah, it's like he doesn't get the memo, bro. I freaking text him all the time, like, bro, stop fighting my guys.
Hey, come on! I got
But
all these cards up here. Can you quit, dude? Go fight somebody else.
but I think he finally got my last message, bro. I said go to 170 or else, Islam.
Yeah.
Okay, and so it's finally clicking for him. Nah, yeah, but I do hope he goes to 170. I think him versus Jack. Oof, that
Yeah,
would
that'd be
be
crazy.
like him versus Dustin on steroids. I think like
That's a tough fight
because
for him, man. Yeah,
Jack has those hands, bro.
he has power in his hands, and he's definitely going to throw. I think the takedown aspect, you know, Islam is going to be head and shoulders above him in that aspect. But just the power and
Yeah,
the ability, to really throw combinations, like that would be a fun stand-up battle. Because Islam has surprisingly good boxing and surprisingly
yeah.
good kickboxing, so that would be kind of fun.
And
It'd be a good matchup.
he's willing
Yeah.
to engage.
Yep.
Like I think Habib would engage if he was pissed, like with Connor. That was awesome. But Habib was way smarter, obviously, right? But I feel like Islam has that dog, and he, he's willing to beat you at your game. That's boss, that's
Hmm.
boss move right there. And so I respect Islam. I feel like if it was anybody else, if it was, I don't know, if it was like Michael Chandler doing this to my guys, I would literally be like
Yeah.
crying every night. But but it's Islam, and Islam is gonna be
Yeah, dude, he's
pound
one
for
of the
pound goat.
already. He's one of the lightweight. One of the best light. You could crown him today probably, and I think most people would be like, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, he could end up like you're saying, being one of the top 10, top five guys of all time if he continues on this trajectory. Since we're talking about fights and stuff, we got Volk versus Lopez Diego coming up. That should be a fun fight. What's your thoughts about your PC guy going up against Diego, and then tell us about this card too. It's a really nice card.
Shit, bro. I think him going up against Diego. I think it is going to be obviously it's going to be a hard test, but I feel like people are underestimating Volk. I think he's going to do very well against Diego. I think he's going to grind out a decision, probably unanimous. Um, I don't think I don't think Diego's going to catch him, and I think he's going to gas out trying to.
Yeah, five rounder,
Volk
man. Volk has lived and
five
died. For
rounder.
years he's been 5 round Volk, so he's definitely more experienced in that
He's
aspect.
he's re-energized. He's had what, close to a year, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and he just looks good, man. He looks great right now in his camp. I've heard nothing negative about his camp, only positive things. So I feel like this is, a little baby comeback party for Volkanovski. Kind of like how he did Yair after the first Islam fight. I think
Hmm.
that's how it went. He lost to Islam, and then he took on Yair and just made it look easy. He's not gonna make it look easy here. Maybe towards the end he will though. I'm not like, I'm not nervous over here as much as I have been for other fights with
Yeah.
Diego. Although I like Diego and I think he has a bright future, but he's not going to steamroll him, and I think that's what he's going to want to do, and that's what's going to gas him out.
Nice.
What do you
like the
think? What do
take
you
there.
think?
Yeah, man.
What do you
I
think?
am Volk is such a good champion in the fact that I think he fights so incredibly intelligent. All the Max fights, it was just like I don't even know if he's a better fighter than Max, but he fought smarter. He used his advantages
Yeah.
and was able to be like he's kind of a tactician in the way that he fights. And in that first fight with Islam, I think he was able to just almost take the victory because of his tactics. Like he just fights very, very smart. Now, I think in the case with Ilya, we saw him just kind of get overwhelmed by somebody that's more talented and more physically gifted than him. But I don't know if Diego is quite as talented or physically gifted as a guy like Topuria. So I think this is going to be a really close fight. I would slightly edge Volkanovski just because of the 5-round experience and his fight IQ. And Diego is kind of still kind of raw in some areas. I mean, he has an incredible guard. He's very big for the weight class, but you alluded to potentially, being a little bit almost over aggressive. And I think against a guy like Volk, he fights very well against people that are very aggressive because he's able to kind of use that energy and redirect it with his tactics. And he's also very, very long and rangy. I think his wingspan is incredible for his height, and I don't think people necessarily think about that because he's such a small guy height-wise. But his range he's surprisingly rangy, and he's surprisingly rangy with his kicks also. So that's going to be a really fun one, man, and I'm excited for that.
Hell yeah, bro. What is not next weekend, right?
I think it's the 12th. Yeah,
Or
so it's coming up.
Two
man.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when is that? Is that next week?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, it's next week, bro.
So that'll be a fun one, man.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Switching gears a little bit, you have a YouTube channel. Your YouTube channel is awesome. I love the quality of your videos. I like how you're very like fun and goofy. You do skits sometimes, which is really funny to me. What are some of your videos to create, and do you want to just talk about like creating stuff in general?
Yeah. Videos to me are just fun, bro. And when I'm making a video, I'm constantly watching it, right, as I'm editing it, like doing the editing process, and I'm just like thinking like what would be funny for me, to watch this video again. And so that's kind of my goal when I'm making videos. I'm like, how can I make myself rewatch this video after I'm done with it? Because sometimes it feels like, like I just want to be done with this video. Like I'm more excited for another one that I'm thinking about. And so sometimes I'm just kind of like, okay, get out of here. But at the end of the day, I'm super, I take long in the editing process because of that. Like I'm just constantly watching it and I'm like, I'll get bored of it for that day and I'll just put it away. Like I'm super special with my videos. I don't know how else to say it. Like I wish I was more just, like I said, just finish and post and be done with it. But yeah, I'm trying to make it rewatchable for myself. I think the skits are my favorite just because I've always liked writing, like I used to write plays back in high school, short stories. Like I can be really creative, right? And so I'm like, how can I direct that creativity into something UFC? And so yeah, I want to do more. It's just they take time. Like it's time. Sometimes I need help with other people helping me. And so yeah, like I haven't been doing too many, but that's my favorite part. That's my favorite part, aside from ripping, like actual ripping product. That's the best part right there. Yeah.
Cool, man. What do you have anything coming up that you're excited about, or any ideas for future videos that you want to tell anybody about?
I'm gonna do a video of cards that I'm willing to part with pretty soon.
Oh, that's a good one, man.
Put it out there
because you gotta sell some stuff, dude. In order to buy more cards, you gotta sell some stuff. So I like that.
I'm at that point, bro. And after watching like I love watching your conversations with other collectors because it really helps me look at my, like at myself with a different perspective in my collecting, and it's definitely helped refine some things. And so I'm not buying too many cards that are lower end anymore, because I used to just see a card, and if it was going for a good price, even if it was $7 or $8, I would just get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like, no, let's save like 10 of those and maybe buy a $70 card. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now as far as collecting. And so yeah, I have some cards that are bangers, like they're awesome cards. It's just not my PC.
Yeah.
And then I also have some PC cards of my guys that I think I would be okay parting with. So yeah, I think that's one of the videos that's going to be a little different,
Mm-hmm.
that I'll post sometime soon. And yeah, just kind of show cards and talk about them, and put it out to the community to see if anybody, wants them, if anybody wants to trade, possibly. Um, but yeah, I guess a lot more content with my actual PC, because that helps me, enjoy it a different way. And I know that people like to see cards. They want they want you to share, also just what you have,
Mm-hmm.
because we have them for a reason, because they're bangers. And so other people kind of want to see that too. And so yeah, just more content with my own PC. I have this other idea for a video where it's my lowest numbered card versus, what is it? Lowest numbered auto versus lowest numbered card. I want to do that for my PC, because I haven't really thought about it. Lowest numbered auto versus my lowest numbered just normal card, and which one is better. But yeah, that's about it. Nothing too
Nice, man.
crazy.
Got some cool ideas coming down the pipeline. One thing that I respect about your videos so much is your thumbnails, dude. They're insane. Like, what program are you using? Your stuff just always looks so refined. Do you have like a design background? Do you have a history in like content creation or video creation, or just anything like that in order to get you to the point now where you're making such nice thumbnails?
I kind of So I've always liked photography. That's one of like the little hobbies that has always been a part of my
Mm-hmm.
life. Like, ever since like high schoolish days. Um, so photography, and then that leads you to edit, right? The photography, the photos, and stuff like that. And so I've always
Yeah.
messed around with that. But you're gonna laugh, bro. I use Canva. Canva is my Canva is my playground. It's like, like what social media manager little girls use, but here I am using
It's
Canva.
working good, man.
And it has been the program that just offers everything that I need. Like I've used many other apps. But Canva just became my home, and I started just learning, you know, uh learning tips and tricks, that are easy, because Photoshop is hard, bro. Like
Yeah,
actual
for sure.
programs, like actual editing programs are hard, and they have a learning curve. Canva simplifies everything, and yeah, I don't foresee myself changing. Thumbnails though are hard, bro. It's so hard. It's so hard, but thank you for your kind words, bro. I truly appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks so much for coming on today, dude. It's already been, over an hour. It's been a great conversation. Thanks for sharing some of your philosophy, sharing your PC, getting to talk to you about future videos and about your channel. I appreciate you coming on, man. And I'll have you on again in the future. And good luck with everything, collecting wise and with the channel as well.
Hell yeah, bro. Thank you so much, Zach. This has been awesome. I'll come back anytime. You let me know.
All right. See you, everybody.
Peace.